What up, OGs? Welcome back to another episode of the OG Sessions podcast. Man, episode 80 going down right now.
Yes, sir. Let's go.
Man, I'm here with the boy Joey Allen. How are you feeling, brother?
I feel good. I'm happy to be back.
Dude, I'm so... It feels really good. It's like a relief to finally have the new studio up and running.
I know. I feel like it was quite a few weeks. We were just... Every week, I'm like, we need to start. We need to record an episode. We got to get this thing going.
100%, bro. And I will say there's a couple of updates we need to give the people before we start this new episode. So, obviously, as you can tell, we're in the new studio. You know, it looks beautiful.
I like
Obviously,
this couch.
everyone that's seen it on social media. Is it really comfy?
It is pretty comfortable.
Yeah, I've sat on it a couple of times, but I feel like for a long period of time, it would be a pretty ideal couch to have. One thing that I will say, though, is there's a lot of updates to the studio that are going to make hopefully the podcasting experience for like the listener just a little bit better, bro. You know, like we wanted to enhance the room, enhance the studio so that the audio quality would be a little bit better. So that it'd be a little bit more of like an intimate setting so that whenever our guest shows up, it's not like we're sitting on two desk tables and a couple swivel chairs, you know. Obviously, me and you still have that set up because that's kind of like where we're most comfortable because we're doing it every single week. But when the guest comes over, it's nice to have the chair. It's nice to have them
it's like more homey over here.
100%, bro. Yeah. And, you know, I will say a lot of our listeners should know this by now, but me and you are kind of perfectionists when it comes to this. Like we will not, like we had so many blueprints for the studio of what we wanted to do, but like we couldn't even really decide on them before. Like this is back when we were episode like 72 when we knew we were going to be getting a new studio eventually. And we had so many plans that we wanted to do, but we couldn't ever settle on one because it was like some things like money was a factor and then other things, space was a factor. Yeah. That's a big thing. But now we're finally in this like huge space. You know what I mean? We've got the studio all set up the exact way we want it. And yeah, man, I can't wait to have some of these guests come back and like check out the difference in studio.
Oh, they're going to love it.
Yeah, it's a lot more comfortable. How do you feel sitting in the guest spot?
I'm telling you this. Can I take this home?
Yeah.
I would sleep in this. It's pretty comfortable. If you put a pillow right here, shoot.
Dude, that's funny. I will say it was a process. You know, there's a few things like obviously the fencing material, the couple of the plants, the oranges, like those are some of the things we had in the last studio. But getting like that wall up, you know what I mean?
I love this wall.
I love that wall, bro. That's one of my favorite pieces. Obviously, the orange couch is a staple piece. Yeah. The rug took a lot longer than we were expecting for it to come in. We actually got a couple of new pieces of equipment. You can't really tell, but we did upgrade some of the equipment so that the quality's better, so that we're just bringing, you know, we wanted it to be a nice upgrade for the people. We figured if we're going to take some time off, we want to at least
come back better.
Come back stronger, 100%, bro. And, you know, I think that this studio layout is going to be kind of our golden layout for a while, man. I think they will be.
I think it's going to be our ticket.
You think?
I think
a little ticket? Oh
yeah.
Shit! What about this studio is kind of your favorite?
The look of it, because a lot of things it's your aesthetic, like the image that you put out. A lot of people, obviously that's the first thing they see before they start listening to what you say. So like things that really capture their attention, I think.
We've already had people say that they want to come over and just take pictures in the studio.
Like I want to just take pictures. Yeah. Like it's cool.
No, it's a good vibe. I'm proud of it. We crushed it, man. So, dude, thank you for all your help.
Of course.
Like, dude, we made this shit happen. And it was a long time coming, but I'm so proud to be sitting here finally recording an episode in this new studio. So yeah, there's a couple things that we need to jump into before we, you know, obviously we've been gone for like, you know, 5-6 weeks, you know what I'm saying? So, definitely some new things we need to talk about. First, should we jump into win of the week?
Yeah, let's do win of the week.
Yeah. All right, win of the week, man. Let's go ahead and get this shit popping. So, win of the week, episode 80. Start us off, brother.
I will go first. My win of the week, if we're in the holiday season, you know, is holiday company Christmas parties.
Let's go.
If you are fortunate enough to work at a small enough company to have like a big Christmas, because I feel like those big companies, they don't really do them. Like, and if they do, it's not like it's like a pizza party on a random work day, like it's during your lunch break. But no, I work for not a small company, but it's smaller. And we just had our Christmas company. It was huge. I mean, everybody got a gift. There was great food. It was a great venue. It was just a good time all around.
It looked like fun, man.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie. And it's cool because, you know, a lot of times when you're at work, it's like you and your coworkers like get along and you're having a fun time, but it's like you're not really in the zone. Like,
it's still a work environment.
Exactly.
But like being in this Christmas company party, like you get to see everybody like letting loose.
Free drinks.
Free drinks.
And
free food.
And you know,
we had a comedian.
Oh, no way.
Yeah, we got to listen to a comedian for an hour.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it was
and
nice.
what did you do like a white elephant or like sometimes companies will do where they give out prizes?
They had all the gifts. We didn't have to bring anything.
Okay, so what did they give out? What were some of the things?
Dude, they had 85-inch TVs. There was like 10 TVs that got given out. Disney tickets, Universal tickets. I got this money box. You just kept pulling out money. It had like
I saw
a
that.
couple $100s in it.
Dude, that's
cool.
dope, man. That's dope. I'm glad you had a good time, bro. That's sweet. My win of the week is that it's a new era for the OG Sessions boys, man.
Yes, it is.
It is a new fucking era, man, because me and you were back on our gym grind.
Oh,
Little announcement for the people, I'm not gonna lie, we've been a little out of shape recently because but for the people that don't know,
round is a shape.
True.
I've been getting kind of fat.
Facts. I will say this, bro. Before we started doing the podcast and we were just kind of running with the brand and we were doing our own things, whatever, we were young, we used to work out a lot. Like we were big, especially you had some sponsors every day. I was an everyday goer too. Like honestly, man, I was really into it. And it's crazy to even think about because it's been almost 2 years since I've stepped foot in a gym. Like it hasn't been that long. It's been months for sure.
Yeah.
Like almost a year, I'm sure, since you've really been in that bitch. But dude, I mean, I haven't been in the gym in so long, and you can tell it's like we've been going for I think it's like 10 days now. It's probably as long as we've been, and it's crazy because like you can see my form is off. You can see like, there's some things like where certain muscle groups where it's like in my shoulders especially, I'm like, oh, I used to be able to really push some weight with this, and now I'm like not there anymore.
Yeah.
But this is the start of a new era, bro. I'm excited. Like there's nothing is like exciting as when you first get back into the gym.
It hurts though.
Oh, it hurts.
Ooh,
it
hurts.
My legs, bro, are dying. But it's cool whenever you get to come home and you're drinking like a protein shake, and then you want to eat a lot to try to put on that mass and try to like turn that fat into muscle and whatever. And
I feel like we've been going consistently enough to where it's turning into like it's bad if we don't go. Like it feels like our day is not done if we don't hit the gym first, which is like that's where I want to be because then that makes you go every day or go as much as you need to.
It keeps you motivated too, right? Like you see more growth. Like for me, I'll notice if I'm going to the gym a bunch, like I remember back in the day, bro, when I was going, if I missed like, a couple days, like bro, 2 days back to back, like I'd feel like I don't look as big.
Yeah, you feel like you lost everything you just worked for the last 3 years.
No, we're in this shit though, bro, honestly.
Yeah.
And we got a really nice gym that we're working out in. So honestly, everything's been working out. It's been going as smooth as possible.
I cut the mullet off, big changes.
Okay. We need to address this, bro. I need these people to hop in the comments right now and let us know how are we feeling with Joey Allen with no mullet. Because basically, I'm trying to think, how many episodes did you do on the pod with no mullet? It's got to be. It was only probably like 4 or 5.
Yeah, I had a mullet for a while.
I know. So, but I will say it took some getting used to.
Yeah.
But I like it a lot more.
Thank you.
I like No Hat Joey.
I think I do too.
Because you got to do your own in your fucking hair. Like you've got good ass hair. A lot of these people, bro, and now we all have our hair challenges. My fucking hair challenge.
Well, I know I got a big ass forehead.
Bro, you do have a big ass forehead, but it's because you're so smart. It's because you're so smart.
Thank you.
It's all that overthinking, what I'm saying?
Right.
No, but I will say, bro, like it's a switch up. It's something everyone's got to get used to. But I'll tell you, I think it looks great, man.
I was going for like a big reaction from everybody because I know everybody was used to the mullet, and my beard was getting large. Too. It was starting to.
You're going caveman style, bro.
So I was like, I went to my barber. He was like, "Are you sure? Are you sure? Are you sure?" I was like, "Yes, bro. Cut it off. Clean me up."
Yeah.
And now I just feel like a new man.
Do you miss it at all? Is there any like missing of the mullet?
It's funny because like I still find myself like when I don't know why, but like I'll just randomly like reach back and grab my hair. But now I do that and there's nothing there. It's like that's weird because I expect the hair to be in my hand.
Yeah.
But there's nothing there. It's just neck.
Dude, that's funny, man.
Yeah.
Well, I think it was cool that you had the mullet. Like now you can say at one point in your life, like when you got kids, right? You tell your kids like, "Oh, I had a mullet."
Yeah. Nick's rocking the man bun.
We got man bun. See, it's funny. We kind of traded places.
I know.
Like in this last 6 weeks, my hair really like started to get long enough where I could put it up and shit. And then now you're.
I was like, Nick, grow your hair out with me. Let's do this together.
Here we are. Here we are, ladies and gentlemen. I stayed loyal on my end.
Yeah, my shit's gone.
One thing we got to touch on, and I know we're about to hurt some feelings.
Well, shit, you're about to hurt my feelings.
Look, you did this to yourself, okay? The OG Sessions Fantasy Football League is officially in the playoffs.
Yes.
Now, it's been a minute since we've touched on this. This will be our third time touching on it. We touched on it when the season first started, and then we touched on it around like week 3, I think. And Joey had some choice words for some people in the group around week 3. I'm going to tell you right now.
I'll take them all back. I'm sorry for everything I said.
So do you want to go ahead and explain like what the fuck happened to your team after week 1?
So what happened was every team that I played after week 1 had their best game against me.
Here we go.
Because
Here
listen,
we
if you
go.
look at my points scored, I'm up there. I'm up there. But I happen to be in very last place right now. So it really didn't go well for me.
Yeah. So Joey is in dead last, and he is at risk of holding the
Calvin
sign.
Ridley can. We don't need Calvin Ridley next year. I'm tired of him, bro. Like, he is the biggest disappointment on my team.
On your fantasy team?
On my fantasy team. Shit, on the Jaguars, honestly. There was so much hype behind Calvin Ridley.
Yeah. I mean, I think
He's had like 2 or 3 standout games.
Yeah, but I mean, I'm not going to hold you. Like, those games where he is going crazy, like those 2 or 3 games, man, it's like he's really making some insane catches.
But
like,
if he can do it, then why isn't he
for
consistent?
Sure. I think he struggles where, you know, there's the drops thing is a big thing for sure. Like, he had some drops. Like, he'll make great catches, but he'll also have some like pretty detrimental drops too. Calvin, I'm not going to sit here and, you know, want him out of Jacksonville quite yet. I think that he's still got a little bit of growing to do. You got to remember, this dude didn't play football for almost a whole year.
And I think if they build that relationship, him and Trevor, because right now I feel like they're clashing.
Dude,
like, they are not
really?
happy.
You think so?
Yeah. After that last game, Trevor was pissed after some of those throws.
For sure, but I think I know Trevor's one of those guys where he kind of takes that shit on the chin. Like, that's kind of him, bro. Like, he'll take it.
He was cussing Calvin.
Really?
Because there was a route he didn't even turn around on.
Like, okay, I remember that.
It was like left side of the field.
That was bad.
Yeah.
That was bad. But besides that, I mean, and was that a pick too? I don't think it ended up being
No,
a pick.
it wasn't a pick or anything.
Yeah, it was just a shitty.
But it should have been a caught ball.
Yeah. It was on 3rd down too. I think. It was a detrimental play. Okay, I see. Things like that will piss me off about Calvin Ridley, but then he has those plays, bro, where it's like he's double covered or he's locked down on the fucking sideline, and this dude's making like these great catches.
I hear you.
Touchdowns wise, I think he's a good red zone threat if you can get the ball to him.
Yeah.
But no, man, go Jaguars. Look, back to fantasy football. I'll tell you straight up, the issue with your team is that you're a team that's full of mediocre fucking players and then 2 legends, bro.
I don't even have the 2 legends anymore.
I know, but you've traded it out for less mediocre players, which has been good for you.
Yeah.
Let's be honest. So around like 3 or 4 weeks ago, whenever Joey realized that, there really might not be a chance of him ever coming back up in the charts again.
After week 5, I was already eliminated. Yeah. What do you mean? Like, I already had the E. It was like, you're not going to make it.
What's funny is I noticed that, I mean, I think everyone fucking noticed. It's like your team would put up a good amount of points, but like you said, you had to have a good week, and you'd win. And you just got the short end of the stick every time.
Every time.
And
9 times in a row, to be specific.
Yeah. What was your final record at the end of the year?
3-10.
And those 2, you got 1 win week 1, and then the last 2 wins were at the very end of the season. Yeah. So
after the trade, actually.
Is this a fair trade, people? Which you have to see the teams to understand the trade. But you traded
Jalen Hurts.
Emotional revenge. You traded him, which is Smitty. You traded him for Jalen Hurts. You had Jalen Hurts and Tyreek Hill.
Mm-hmm.
You traded him for Laporta, ETN,
and
Deebo Samuel, which are all 3 places that you needed help, and you had CJ Stroud on your bench.
Yes.
Which he was playing.
He was taking off at that point.
And so the thing is like, you look at your team and you're like, okay, you could lose Jalen Hurts and still be okay. Mm-hmm. Like, you're still not putting up Jalen Hurts numbers, but you still got an okay fantasy QB. And then with Tyreek Hill, he's giving you Deebo, but you're also gaining a boss tight end, because for the people that don't know, you also drafted Evan Ingram. And Evan Ingram is good, but he's not.
He misses sometimes.
Yeah. It's iffy, and so you need that guarantee at tight end. And you had some guys like your Saints defense, they perform sometimes, and your kickers are all right. And there's guys on your teams where it's like they're fine. You don't really need to upgrade them. So I think looking back on that trade, dude, that was a great move for you and your team. Like, you needed that at that time.
I started winning after it.
Yeah.
I wish I did it sooner.
And Smitty's team, it's funny how he was winning a couple games.
And he started winning after it. So it worked out for both of us.
It was a win-win, honestly. And one thing that I'll say, just a little honorable mention in this league because, you know, I'm sitting here in the playoffs. Only 4 teams made the playoffs. Shout out.
Boy, barely made it.
I'm sorry, what?
Wait, aren't you second?
Yeah, I'm second, brother.
That's crazy that he's second because he was fighting.
Not really.
Yes, you were.
Well, okay. So last week, there was 3 playoff spots available. Scott already had the first one locked down because he has such a crazy-ass team. But there were 3 final playoff spots available, and there were 5 people that were tied at 8 and 5.
Oh, okay. So it wasn't.
And so whoever wins, basically, you have a chance to be in, but then you have to make sure that other people lose, or you have to have more points scored than anybody. Mm-hmm. And I do not have that many points scored. It's very no knowledge. I think I'm like 4th in the league in points scored. So I'm not putting up really that many points week to week, you know, but I'm getting lucky. I'm playing the people that, you know, they're not really putting up that, like, bro, I played Scott and I put up 160 something points. It's like you play anybody that week and you're going to be whooping their ass. You know what I'm saying? But it's funny how certain guys that you'll play with in the league, it's like, dude, they were just shitting the bed against me, bro. Like I think Broadway, he had a bad game against me. A couple of these guys were like just slacking when they played me, bro. I don't know what it was. And my team was putting up okay numbers, but as you see, I'm 4th to last in points scored, but I'm in the playoffs. So, what's cool is a couple people lost, a couple people won, and so now the final playoff is Scott, me, Broadway Louie, and Cam. All you guys that listen to the pod, you guys know all these guests, man. They've all been on the pod before. They've all, you know, shown love and stuff, but it's a very competitive playoff. I will say that.
Even the losers bracket.
Oh, the losers bracket is looking very competitive
because we're fighting hard.
See, this is what I love. People don't, for y'all that haven't been following, the loser of the fantasy football league has to hold a sign on one of the busiest street corners in Jacksonville, and the sign says "Honk if I suck at fantasy football."
I'm not holding that sign.
It's so funny, bro. It's like the best loser punishment ever, and we're all gonna drive by in our cars. We're gonna have our families drive by in their cars. We're gonna have everyone that has a car.
There's going to be a constant line of honking cars.
Just honking, laying on the horn while the loser has to stay on the side of the busiest corner. And don't worry, we'll film everything for you guys. Like there's none of the content's going to be missed. But basically that's what all the at least not everyone in the losers bracket, but at least you and Zach Fumbledore, you guys are competing for that last spot, man. And it's going to be, I think that one's going to come down to the...
Nah, I'm wiping them.
Yeah. Boy.
I got a solid team now. Devon and Chains back. No more injury reserve. I'm
Who did you play your last week?
I played Fumbledore. And I lost.
Ooh.
But, okay, so...
I was just wondering.
Left too many points on the bench. Evan Ingram somehow got 33 points after his last 8, 6, 7 points.
Yeah.
So, yeah, Laporte only got 4 points, which kind of pissed me off. But.
No, I think I smell a comeback for Joey. I don't think you'll be holding that sign, brother. I want you to be holding that sign, but I don't think you will be. Something tells me.
I'll drive off a bridge before I hold that sign. I ain't doing it. That shit's bad.
It's getting intense now. I like it. It's getting heated up. And winner of the league gets 300, second place gets 150, and then third gets their money back 50.
Mm-hmm. And I just lost my quarterback.
And you just lost C.J. Stroud, so it's about to get interesting.
Jake Browning better hold out for me.
Yeah, I think they're playing right now too. So we're cross your fingers.
They're crossed, right? Yeah. They've been crossed all the time.
Because that's a risky play, in my opinion.
Well, I mean, who else am I going to pick up? All the top 10 quarterbacks are gone. Jake Browning's a crazy backup.
One honorable mention that I have is, shout out to the guy Smitty. I know he has big dreams.
I knew this was coming. 6%, baby.
6%, baby. And it has to be addressed because he will never get his opportunity to shine on this podcast because the winner of the Fantasy Football League gets another episode on the OG Sessions pod. So since it's full of a bunch of artists, entrepreneurs, whatever, that person will get to be highlighted on the pod one more time. Now, if I'm the winner, who knows? Maybe we'll just take the week off. You know what I'm saying? But so
nobody want to listen to you.
Yeah. No, that'd be cool if I was in the guest spot and you interviewed me. That'd be funny.
So what'd you do?
How'd you do it, bro? No, what? I think it'd be funny Smitty's thing. So Smitty was, I think he maybe won one game in like the first 6 or 7 weeks or something. It was bad, bro.
Me and him were sitting in the same
you guys were down there at the bottom just sharing a little slice of pizza together, bro. You guys were just getting the leftovers. It was bad. And so then a stat comes up where it's like Smitty's playoff percentage is 6%. And this dude just absolutely runs with it, man. Y'all better not ever forget, man. I'm Mr. 6% from this point on. I'm never going to. Dude, just everything. Like, the trash talking really began right there for Smitty. And it was.
I was like, Smitty, shut the hell up. You're not a chance.
But this boy goes ahead and doesn't lose.
Wins out.
Almost. Wins out until the final week where he has to win one more game. And you know what his playoff percentage was before the last week? Dude,
it was like 70 or something?
No, it was higher, bro. It was
really?
like 90-something percent.
That's crazy.
Very high percentage he was about to make the playoffs, bro. And all he had to do was just win the game because he had the points.
I almost wish he did.
But me too.
Just so the story would have been complete.
The story would have been complete. But I'll tell you what, man. Smitty's team, you cannot put up like 60 points on the last week. I mean, this is like the final week, man. Just put up those points so that you're at least safe in case it comes down to like points between you and another guy if multiple people lose or whatever, you know?
Is that what he put up, 60 points?
60 points. It might have been a little more. I don't think I checked it after Monday night, but I don't know if he even had any players playing Monday night. But last time I checked it, it was like 60
I don't think I've
points.
had any games under 100.
Yeah, dude, I'll tell you, you can't. I mean, what are you going to do, man? You can't like... If you're putting up 60 points, like if you do that in the playoffs, you're done.
Yeah.
It's not even a good playoff. It's not even competitive. But I tried to explain that to him. He was not really hearing that on the phone.
Probably didn't want to.
He really wanted me to use my commissioner, like,
push him through.
Rights or whatever. Yeah, whatever it is to push him through the playoffs and like take Broadway out. But I'm like, dude, points are points. Broadway had 30 more points than you. Like, that's how the season goes, bro. Welcome to fantasy football.
Yes, sir.
You have just officially completed your first regular season of fantasy football. And how do you feel about it?
Lots of regrets. But, I'll be back next year.
I was going to say, do you regret playing?
I regret the plays I made.
Yes, you regret the
I don't
moves.
regret playing. I'll be back.
Dude, I think we can see the best part is it's going to be a lot harder for you to like do worse than you did this year.
Thank you.
Like going into next year's, bro,
Thank you.
You can only improve. It's only up from here.
Thank you. I love it.
Yeah.
Wait till I fucking win.
If you're holding that side, it's definitely only up from here.
Anyways, what's after fantasy?
So, anyway, y'all follow along on that on social media. We'll be posting all the highlights and everything on Twitter, on Instagram, TikTok, all that good stuff. Before we jump into this episode, man, it's episode 80, and me and Joey are hyped about this one. It's a super phenomenal guest. Just someone that we've been trying to really like lock in and get on this page. We should have honestly got on this podcast a long time ago. But dude, I just know
it's a nice puzzle piece.
Yeah, I'm very excited for this episode. I know you're very excited for this episode. But before we jump into that, I want to let all the people know about the new and improved OG Sessions Patreon.
Yes, sir.
So as the people know from the past, we had live streams, we had a chat community, we had merch and giveaways and all this stuff we do on the Patreon. I feel like it's a little overwhelming because it's
much.
Like, yeah, people love this podcast. They love listening to us on, a weekly basis or whatever, but not everybody wants to dive in and watch a live stream of the same episode they just heard online and then go and I noticed that there was people that liked those aspects, but it wasn't enough to justify like having it available for everybody type thing. So don't worry, for the people that want merch, it's all being worked on. It's all coming in, you got to wait for the right time. We want to make sure everything's high quality and everything's good before we put it out. But as far as the live streams and the chat community go, those are gone. If you want to keep chatting with the boys, Joey's got the keys to Twitter, so you guys can go on there. Hit that boy up, man. And then for, basically any other social media, you can DM us, you can do whatever. If you still want to, interact or have any questions about anything and you still want to have some input or whatever, we know who's a certified OG and who isn't on that Patreon. So don't think you all can hide, just if you send us a DM, we're going to know. And what's cool is now the OG Sessions Patreon is the home for all OG Sessions bonus content. So if you're looking for just more OG Sessions, like we've got a ton of new style videos that we're going to be dropping exclusively on Patreon. One of those I'm going to hint at. It's called a secret session, and we haven't announced this yet. So if you guys are listening to this episode, you're going to be the first ones to hear about this. But basically, we're going to bring a guest into the studio, do a full length interview with them, normal episode, just like all the other ones. But no one will know who the guest is, and the way to find that out is by clicking play and watching the Patreon.
It's not even in the title.
It's not even in the title. It's just going to be Secret Session 1, Secret Session 2, things like that. So, if you want to be a part of the fam, it's not that expensive. Join the Patreon. And more than anything, like, you guys are supporting us so much. Like, if you want these videos to get better, if you want the guests to get better, if you want us to keep going to these new locations and doing these on the roads and things like that, the Patreon is really where you can support us and where, we'll really feel your support and really put it into action, if that makes sense. But yeah, also, if you guys want to get 2-day early access to the episodes, Patreon, that's your spot. If you guys want to, see behind the scenes of on the road episodes, get a quick little 30-minute midweek B-roll episode. Yeah, like me and Joey might finish the gym one week, and there's a couple things that we, been needing to talk about. Some
pictures of us flexing.
Oh yeah, we'll just get on there and just flex for the camera. No,
we lose all our Patreon members. No more certified OGs.
Yeah, they're gone. We got to just cancel it. Patreon kicks us off.
We just start working out. That's it.
We got to move to OnlyFans at that point. No, man. But all the Patreon members that are already on there, thank you so much for you guys. We really appreciate all of y'all just rocking with us through this time where we were trying to get the new studio set up and everything. If you are not a member, all I can tell you is that the episodes that are coming to Patreon are about to be so dope, man.
You're missing.
Yeah, we're bringing some really cool shit to the Patreon. So everybody, keep rocking with us. Hang on, because it's going to get lit on the Patreon. If you guys are not, if you don't know where to find it, it's patreon.com/OG Sessions. You can find the links on our stories and things like that. But yeah, shout out to all you guys. Big things
Shout out to you guys. Appreciate you.
Me and Joey are really excited just to bring all this stuff to you. Yeah. Just to, like it's been one of those things where every single night for like 5-6 weeks straight, we've just been putting in a little bit of work and a little bit of work and a little bit of things like where we can find time. We're just trying to improve this podcast and make the listeners' experience the number one thing about this show. So
and now we get to do it.
Yeah. Shout out to all you guys. We fucks with y'all. Let's jump into this episode, bro.
Let's get it.
So episode 80 going down right now. Yo, what up, OGs? We are here, episode 80, going down right now. Joined with us is the man himself, DJ Larry Love.
Peace and blessings. How y'all doing?
Not too bad, man. How you doing?
I'm well. I'm amazing.
Dude, I'm excited for this episode. There's a lot of like connections, I feel like, in this episode.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Obviously, Love Culture.
Yes.
Shout out all the people of Love Culture.
Shout out LC4L for sure.
I feel like this was the final puzzle piece. In getting like the Love Culture group on here. You know what I mean? We've got most people on here, but it's like DJ Larry Love, man, where's he at?
I was like, when I finally saw all the episodes come out, I was like, bro, I'm number 6. I didn't interview for sure. So I'm extremely grateful. I've been telling you, I'm extremely grateful to be here, man. Thank you for having me, for real.
It's a perfect timing, in my opinion.
Yes, absolutely perfect timing.
I was telling you, I like to make that organic connection with guests, and I just like to meet people. Not always just through, the DMs or whatever it is. And I actually ran into you in public. It was at the Jags game.
Shout out to the Jags.
Yeah, shout out to the Jags for bringing us together, even though it was Monday Night Football caught that L, man.
That one hurt. I ain't going to hold you.
It hurt bad, but it did make this connection happen, bro. Yes. So shout out to the Jags, man. That was cool. And yeah, super stoked for you to be here, man, honestly. Yeah. We got a lot of dope shit to talk about. Obviously, you're a man of many facets.
Yes, jack of all trades. I can't say I'm a master of none. I'm a master of a few probably at this point, but yeah, jack of many trades for sure.
Who is, for the people that don't know DJ Larry Love? Who is DJ Larry Love?
That's a very multifaceted question.
Yeah,
I'm a dad. I am a DJ. A lot of people know me as that. I'm a thinker. I'm a curator. I'm a builder. I'm a world traveler.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, I'm a veteran. Shout out to all my veterans.
Thank you for your service, bro.
Yes, sir. No problem.
Yeah.
Serving the U.S.
Man, that is
yeah, give him the cheer.
Right there, bro. Amen, bro. 100%, dude.
Yeah, served in the Air Force for about 9 years.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a lot of things, man. I ain't going to hold you. It's a lot.
What made you want to go into the military?
Man, honestly, I come from a kind of a military family. My dad's side, not a whole lot of military, but the ones who did serve very proudly. My mom's side, like a ton of people went to the Navy. Yeah, and then it was always kind of a thought. It wasn't like I grew up like I'm gonna go into the military, but it was there.
Was there like a pressure from your family? Because I also grew up from a military family, and they were always kind of on my ass about it.
Nah, it was always there. It was like, hey, if you ever, it's been serving us well. So if you would like to, so it was always there. So when I had the idea, my uncle had just retired from the Navy, so it was like, hey, what you think? And he took me he got me a Navy, I forgot it's called, some big book that the Navy has. He gave me one of those, and we went through the process. So, but I think it was also life circumstances at the time. I was trying to start a family. There's a bunch of other stuff going on. And I was like, I need to streamline a couple things. The military was always kind of in my mind. I was in college at the time and was changing my major, and I only had a 4-year scholarship, and changing my major would have put me at 5 years. And I was like, I'm not paying for another year. I can go get paid in the military, travel the world, get some skills, you know what I mean? And then they're gonna finish my education. And I actually just finished that degree this year.
Nice.
Congratulations. So that was a long thank you. That was I started college in 2010. I finally graduated in 2023. But it was my pace, you know what I'm saying? Right. I did it in my time. So yeah, it wasn't much pressure, but it was very helpful.
Yeah.
In me going in. So I'm thankful for everything.
What was your favorite part? Like, what's your best skill you think you've learned from?
Honestly, and it came to me really heavy this year. Leadership, man. Like the structure of the military has helped. I have a couple businesses that I either have helped run or helped build, or that I'm currently running. The military has helped me 100% in streamlining those processes, understanding how chain of command works, all of those things. And then on the other side was camaraderie. I've always been a big community person, but the military it's all about community. It's all it is.
Brotherhood and shit.
You know what I'm saying? You're literally on a base that is a town. You know what I mean? So I would say those are the two biggest things. So leadership and understanding it's helped me in my businesses. And then the community aspect, just tightening up on how things should look, how things should be. So,
right.
Yeah.
I like that.
I like that a lot, man. And I think the benefits too, man, it's incredible. Just what, a lot of the things that come with, being in the military, you can go to school and, they'll pay for most of it. And, I'll tell you what, one thing that my aunt told me, she's real big on school and everything. She really wanted me to go to college. And, she said, she was like, I think what I told her was that's 4 years of my life that I could be focusing on something else that I want to do, or whatever. And she's like, well, you're going to be 20, I think at this time I was 18 or something. So she's like, you're going to be 22 regardless. You can either be 22 with a degree or you can be 22 without a degree. So you sitting here saying it's taking you 13 years. It's bro, everyone's got their own pace. And you've got a degree. So it's absolutely. Congratulations to you on that, man. I know that's, that can just open so many doors just when it comes to certain things. And some companies nowadays really don't care. They could care less about it. But some companies, that is a make or break, bro.
Mm-hmm. You can't get in the door without it.
100%.
Literally.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And then, I've never heard of a situation where having a degree hurts.
Nah.
You know what I mean?
No. It's not going to hurt you. It's not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Maybe financially?
Sure. No. Sorry. Yes, absolutely. It can hurt. But that's the thing. It's a lot. If you just do your due diligence, there's a lot of opportunity to get it paid for.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So if you can get it paid for, bro, go. How would you not? Especially if you can do it at your pace, man.
Yeah.
And the military is not for everybody. You know what I'm saying? I'm saying it to everybody. But it worked out for me. It's been very helpful, and it's really gonna help set me up for the rest of my life. To be honest. So,
right.
This is. Pro-military podcast for sure.
Good.
I think we definitely we love our veterans, man, for sure. So
support the troops.
100%. And we're so close to Mayport, bro. It's how can you not? You know what
and
I mean?
NAS.
Yeah, for sure. No. It's cool. I love being in this city, man. Let's go ahead and talk about your creative side.
Let's talk about it
because I'm excited for it, man. So obviously there's so many different aspects and ways we can go with this. I want to learn when did DJing first kind of come into the picture for you? Have you always kind of had that interest?
So this is perfect because essentially my creative process started with R&B mostly.
That's dope.
So I was in the military. I was going through, I could talk about it. I was going through a divorce at the time. There was a bunch of stuff going on. Mm-hmm. And I was kind of just in this limbo space of trying to move back here to be with my son at the time. And I was, in the military, is transitional periods for you, when you're transitioning to a new base, or if you're getting out of the military, there's all these different transitional spaces. So a lot of times your housing changes. So I left the house I was in, and I talked to my homie, I was like, hey, can I bum on your couch for a a couple weeks, you know what I'm saying, until I either move back to Jax or they send me somewhere else. So he had a lot of homies around at the time. It was just a lot of creative inspiration going on. I was listening to a lot of music, and I ended up going to this super random. I was in Colorado Springs at the time. I don't know if y'all been to Colorado. Colorado's amazing, by the way. I was living in Colorado Springs, and I went to a concert and met this guy named Travis Garland, who in the past he had been signed to Timbaland. He been signed to Timbaland. So go to the concert, listen to him. He's dope. We end up chopping it up, and he was like, "Hey man, where are you from?" I'm from Jacksonville. It's like, "Oh, it's crazy. I got some grandparents that live in Ponte Vedra." And I was like, "Man, have you ever been invited to Jacksonville, let alone Florida, to perform?" He has an amazing voice. He's like, "Nah, never." And the idea popped in my head. I was like, it would be dope if I could bring you.
Yeah.
But at the time, I wasn't DJing. I wasn't making mixes. I wasn't doing anything. And then this was 2015, and at that time, so I'm a huge R&B head. That's where I kind of shine when it comes to DJing. I play everything. Literally, I have a Caribbean event to do later tonight. You know what I'm saying? But I play everything. Dope, but R&B is my bag. So the thought of R&B is dead. That's what everybody kept saying at the time. P. Diddy, who's one of the biggest creators and collaborators to contributors to R&B, was saying the same thing at the time. And I was like, man, I'm on SoundCloud listening to this. SoundCloud was popping at the time. Listen to this amazing R&B music, and I'm like, it's not dead. But I realized there was a transition happening with the DSPs, so Spotify and Apple Music. They weren't pushing a lot of music. So if you weren't mainstream and you didn't know who to look for, the algorithm wasn't showing you, hey, here's this side artist. SoundCloud was, though. So I'm getting heavy on there, and I was like, you know, it'd be dope if I was kind of heavy on Instagram at the time, if I create like a micro blog, and when R&B albums come out, I'll just post them and I'll do a little write up. You know what I mean? That's how it started.
Just like for fun.
Just for fun. You know what I'm saying? And then that turned into, I created a SoundCloud, and I think I did a mix one time. And the mix was like, I was using Adobe Audition and just literally putting the track after each other. And sometimes I'll get in and say a couple things. I got like a little mic and start saying a couple things.
Yeah.
So I'll make the mix and put it out. And because of SoundCloud, the algorithm, how it was working, people were finding them. And they were like, hey man, can you put my music in your mix? And I'm like, okay, you know what I'm saying? That's cool. Like, send it to me, see if I like it. And these are people around the country at the time. So start kind of like digging into that a little bit deeper. Fast forward, I moved back home to Jacksonville, and end up in the studio with a friend of mine. He was doing like this pre-recorded radio thing, and he was like sending it to this radio station. They would play it. But when he was like ripping the songs, they sounded terrible. And I was like, bro, this quality sucks. Like, what are you doing? And to back it up a little bit, to bring it back, when I was like 14 or 15, I was in church and I was doing live audio engineering. So I was kind of familiar with sound. I had been familiar with sound for a little bit, and radio, a couple other things. So I was like, use this program to rip some of the songs. If you're going to rip them like this. He was like, oh man, like I need your help. All right, I'll help you rip the songs.
What does that mean to rip the songs?
So, prime example, you go on YouTube, say you want a song literally on your computer, right? You go on YouTube, you pull you copy the URL and you put it into a program, and it'll literally spit out the MP3 format of the file.
Gotcha.
Yep, rip the song.
Like a converter or whatever.
Yep, a converter, for sure. So as we were moving through that, he just kind of had me in the studio with him helping. Just helping.
Yeah.
And he was like, yo, you got some song ideas? Like, I know you doing these little mix. You got some song. Like, yeah, what about this? What about that? So that turned into, he literally looked at me one day. He was like, you ever thought about DJing? No. He was like, well, technically that's what you're doing when you're making these mixes. I'm like, yeah, but I'm not using any turntable. This is just me at a computer splicing stuff. I'm not.
Yeah.
So I went home and thought about it. And he was like, you should DJ basically for me.
Yeah.
For me. And he had been throwing events in the past, but he was just doing some radio stuff. So fast forward, I bought a little controller, started doing my mixes live, pre-recording them.
Yeah.
And then basically I did my very first DJ gig for New Year's Eve.
Man.
Which is, you guys know, that's a huge deal.
Yeah.
I'm helping people bring in their new year. This is my first gig.
And how do you think you did on that? What was it like?
I was nervous as shit, but
what kind of music? Well, like, give me an example of some of the music you were playing at that time. Like, what were some of your So, if you remember like banger songs.
Yeah, so this is 2017. To be honest, I don't think I was playing anything new for real.
Yeah.
Because I'll back it up to when I was a kid. My dad is the reason I love R&B, and then shout out to my late grandfather, him as well. He took me further back, but my dad had me listening to Michael Jackson, the OJs, Sam Cooke. He loves Prince, but he wouldn't let me listen to Prince when I was a kid.
Why not?
He said it was too nasty, so I couldn't listen to Prince.
But about Otis Redding, you know who that is?
Yeah, of course, absolutely, for sure. So I was listening to that as a kid. You know what I mean? So fast forward, when I'm in that space, I was playing more things from like the 2000s, some 2010s, some hip hop, some R&B. It was a little bit of mix of everything, just what I had. Mind you, I had no mentor, nothing. I was just, all right, I'm gonna get in here and play some songs. So how I did, I was nervous. At the end of the night, they were like, oh my God, you did such an amazing job. And people, they didn't know they was coming in to see a beginning DJ.
Right.
And that let me know, okay, you got something here.
It felt good, didn't it?
It felt amazing. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I remember this particular couple, like they took over the show at one point and they're in the middle of the dance floor just going crazy. But it's because of the music I was playing. You know what I'm saying? I was picking the right songs for them that had them in that space, and they came up to me and were like, hey, we're from Chicago. We do line dancing. Like, you're killing it. Keep going.
Nice.
So that kind of set me on that path for real.
And do you think that had that night gone a little bit differently, do you think you'd still be DJing right now?
I still would be.
Really?
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you just like the process you were up there.
Yeah, it was nerve-wracking, but I felt at home for real. Mm-hmm. It was just nerve-wracking because it's my first time doing it, and I'm doing it on New Year's Eve. You know what I mean?
Are you a very outgoing person? Like, are you one of those people where so you can be in front of a crowd and, there's no nerves of, like, the crowd isn't really a huge factor in it for you?
No stage fright?
I get stage fright for sure.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah. Because, like, I've always been outgoing and a people person, but, like, I still get stage fright. But when I graduated high school, I gave a speech in front of 5,000 people.
Wow, okay.
I'm used to the pressure, but it's not like that's not my. I'm getting more comfortable with it.
Also, I feel like there's a little bit more of an added pressure when it's like you're like not previewing. You're showing your craft off. Basically.
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
This is a representation of your craft, and it's kind of like one of those things where it's help me, Joey. It's like for us, it's like I don't get nervous doing podcasts or anything like that, but like since this is kind of like my passion.
It's you.
Like
it's your image. It's
exactly.
Like, this is how people look at you. This is how they know you.
For sure. Yes. And so you want to put out a good product for the people that enjoy whatever DJing or podcasting or whatever it is. So I think that there's always going to be that added pressure. I totally agree with what you're saying on that. Like,
did you have turntables the first night? Like, are you DJing with turntables at this point?
So I bought. So to give you a little DJ knowledge, if y'all don't already know for the listeners, so I was using a controller. So a controller it's like a put together turntable and mixer. But it's just one piece. Mm-hmm. So you have both sides, and then you have your mixer in the middle. So I was using a really small one. It was like this big. It was not big.
So it's got the little.
Yeah, we got all the buttons, all the cue points, and it has your jog wheels. The jog wheels were like this small. Yeah. They were really small. You know what I mean? But it did what I needed to do for that night for sure. So, but yeah. So at that time, I had R&B mostly, but it was just like a blog. I was releasing these random mixes. I'll get into the specifics of R&B mostly later, but that's essentially how it started. It wasn't an event. It's an event now, but it was a media platform.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yes, exactly.
And I think it's cool, man, that you got that kind of like exposure to like just working with sound and things like that at an early age, like you said, with church. And then it's like you got in the studio and you were helping. And I think a lot of people want to jump into a craft without actually doing, like, not necessarily any research, but just not really knowing a lot about it. Or
seems like you just fell into it.
Yeah, you really did.
Like it was supposed to happen.
No, but I had to think about like why that night went the way it went. I had been listening to music my whole life. I had been essentially curating playlists my whole life. I had been dealing with sound in live settings. If the mic is going crazy, I'm behind the board to make sure the mic go. I have been dealing with some of that pressure and some of those thought processes that you need to DJ in front of people up until that point. So it made sense. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
To your point of the craft, I had been kind of working on it. I had never been manipulating music as a DJ in front of people.
Yeah.
But I have been on the other sides for sure.
Do you feel like whenever you were making the decision to go into the military, like when was it ever a thought that like, maybe I want to pursue the DJ thing and try to make that my career?
Hell no.
Really?
So I joined the military when I was 21, 22, 2012. I didn't become a DJ till 2017.
Okay, gotcha.
Yeah. So like that's why I said my creativity started when I was getting. My military career is kind of set into two parts. I served active duty for 3 years, and then I served in the Guard for 6.
Okay.
The Air Guard. The Air Guard was here. The base is actually at the airport, Jackson Airport. It's like tucked
cool.
off. Yeah. But yeah, so my transition of moving to Jacksonville is what started my creative space for real.
Okay.
Yeah.
So even though you kind of had this exposure to sound at a younger age, you're not actually really getting into the DJ space until you're a little bit older.
Nah, I didn't even think about being a creative for real. I was a worker. You know what I'm saying? I was going to work. I was at the time taking care of the family. That's what I was doing. You know
at what point did you make that jump to where your mindset kind of changed and you're like, I want to really pursue this shit for real and try to see
I'll say right after that gig, honestly, because I was in limbo. So when I moved back here, so when you're switching from active duty to the Guard, depending on what your job is, you might have to retrain. I had to retrain. So like I was in limbo for like months. I was just here. I was getting paid, but I'm not really working because I don't have the credentials to do. At the time I went from so this is cool. I was a dental lab technician. So I was making like dentures. I was making crowns, replacements of molars.
in the military.
That was my job.
That's cool as fuck.
And I was at like one of the top bases for it. So we had like the highest technology. We were using CAD machines to create like 3D models of teeth, 3D models of
sweet.
We were veterans who maybe had gotten their face blown half off. We were creating like cheeks and eye sockets
That's sweet.
that would like pop on with like they would put magnets inside their face. You know what I'm saying? Like,
What?
so I was getting exposed to that. I went from that to when I went to the Guard, I was a mechanic essentially, but like a higher level mechanic. We were working on planes and equipment.
Did you ever
et
make
cetera.
any grills in the military?
No, but actually, when I was in tech school, is what they call it. I was in San Antonio. One of my instructors had got in trouble when he was a young airman. I was in the Air Force, and when he was a young airman because he made some grills. but essentially, I have the skills still to this day to make grills.
I feel like it's kind of similar process.
Yeah, you're casting. You make the mold, you cast the gold, you take it out, you break everything up, and then you grind it down.
You've never made one for yourself?
Nah,
You don't want one?
I do. I do. It's
come
just
on
it's
now.
the
Me and
time- it's
Joey
just
want
time
one too.
consuming.
So
This time
I want a
consuming.
little cap, you know what I'm saying? I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
it's funny because you always we were talking about like before we started the episode, or maybe right after we started the episode, the skills you learn in the military. Like it's cool how many random skills you learn. And like
Man, what?
who would have thought that he'd be learning how to, like he knows how to make a grill, and that's from the
Dentures.
military.
What do you mean? Like a whole set of dentures?
No, for sure, a whole
Seriously.
cheekbone.
I know how to set teeth. It's so crazy, bro.
Yeah.
The process is such an intricate process, but to back it up, because I'm always a hindsight person, my creativity was getting built there because I was having to learn how to use my hands to manipulate. I'm making what's inside your mouth.
Yeah,
That's
it's
crazy.
Like problem,
You know what
like
I'm saying?
Problem solving. Type
Yeah.
thing. Like you come across something. It's like trial and error. You keep trying different things. And,
Yeah.
I think the best way to learn something is hands on, bro. Like
Absolutely.
especially
Absolutely.
with me and Joey. Like we're both like blue collar workers and shit, and like we both are definitely using our hands as well. Like on our day jobs and. To be honest, bro, it's like I could never learn my job like on a computer. Like, same with Joey. Like
Not at all.
And so, I think it's really dope, man.
Yeah, I'm out there getting shocked. That's how I learned.
That boy, an electrician.
Like, ooh, don't do that.
So to speak to that too, the second half of my military career, that's why I say I was a mechanic, but I was deeper than that. So I was a aerospace ground equipment technician.
Mm-hmm.
So we maintained all of the equipment they use to power up the jets, to fuel the jets, to fix the jets, to any cranes. So I had to become part electrician. I had to become part HVAC.
Was it all DC power?
Yeah. Oh, we had to. So in learning, we had to learn both sides, AC, DC. But I feel like most of the stuff we were using was DC. Yeah. But yeah, so I have that skill set, and I'm thankful.
Yeah, it's cool, man.
Yeah.
And just like all the other skills I'm sure you learn out there, like just with a lot of the mental health too. You know what I mean? Because
absolutely.
I mean, it definitely like going into any branch of the military, bro. That shit makes you a man, bro. I mean, if we're being honest, I'm sure there's some
definitely
crazy
makes you a
stories you
man.
got too, man. But it's just one of those things where you got to respect somebody that's sacrificed what they have to go out there and make themselves better.
Absolutely.
let's jump into. Actually, you know what? Before we get off it, I kind of want to know a little bit more about R&B mostly.
Let's talk about it.
There was a couple little stipulations that me and Joey kind of, not stipulations, but things that we
We argued.
We argued for sure. So when we, we were doing our research, and it's R&B mostly, right?
R&B.
Yeah.
Mostly, yes.
And me and Joey for a minute, I was like, I was thinking, I'm like, it's R&B mostly. And I said it, and Joey was like, no, I think it's R&B. And I was, and that's, real R&B is R and B.
Yes, real R&B is R, the and sign.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes.
And so how did you come up with the R&B? Does the N stand for anything?
So not necessarily. So when you look up R&B, you can type in R&B and R&B will come up.
Okay, gotcha.
It's like a abbreviation or extra, right? But literally R&B stands for rhythm and blues. So the N would just be more of a slang, like R, rhythm and blues, rhythm and blues, and without the A and the D, N. You know what I'm saying? So R&B.
Yeah.
Yep. And I did that from a marketing standpoint, honestly, so that I could stand out a little bit.
Yeah. I think it looks way better on socials.
Sure.
Like it's cool that you got that name R&B mostly. Is there anything behind the mostly, or is it just because you're mostly playing R&B?
Thank you for asking me that question. There actually is more to it. So there are a couple of brands that people know that use R&B something, right? I didn't know about most of those brands at the time. I was still getting new to social media and just things that were going on in the world.
Yeah.
So, two things. So, there's a group called Soulection. Do y'all know about them? Mm-mm. So I'm gonna send them. I'm gonna send y'all their stuff.
Yeah, put us on, bro.
Oh my God, they're amazing. And they actually started as a radio show at a college in LA, and now they're this. I think they're in year 7 or 8. They're a global company. They have a show on Apple Radio. They do heavy parties, but their music is like, it's everything. So they'll take some Drake vocals and put it over some African conga, whatever. Like they do crazy blends and mixes, but they're so one of their taglines is timeless beats, eclectic soul, right? Like, so it's more soul, but it's like when I first started listening to them, because that's who I was kind of listening to at the time, just musically. They would take like R&B vocals and mix it with jazz, or they would do some crazy shit. So I was like, most of the stuff that I do is around R&B, but it might be jazz influence. It might have some jazz influence to it, but it's still R&B. So the at the time, anyways, if you're gonna say the event, it's a little bit different. But I'm mostly playing R&B, but even the things that I'm not playing that are R&B are usually influenced by it, built around it sometimes, et cetera, et cetera. So that was the initial plan, and when we got to the event, it was a little bit different. But
I like how it's really easy to understand too. Like I see you just see R&B mostly, and you're expecting it to mostly be R&B.
Yep.
You know? And
it makes sense. It's a good name.
Yeah, no, I like that. I like when people do that, because some people try to, like, I think overthink it a little bit, and they'll try to make it like R&B, and then this like, some word that hasn't been used before or something like that, and you're just kind of like, what is that? And sometimes with the way things go, it's like someone can say R&B da-da-da and it not even be about R&B. You know what I mean?
No,
it's like a gang or something. You know what I mean? It's like, so it's funny how R&B, I like the way you did it. I think you did a great job with it, man. And do you feel like, because with R&B mostly, it was kind of like one of those things where you were kind of doing that before the DJing, right?
Yeah.
Do you think that was kind of like, once you started DJing, you kind of turned up with R&B mostly a little bit harder because you were like, they kind of go hand in hand?
Yeah. So I started DJing, and we'll get into love culture soon, but started DJing.
I'll save the best for last.
Yeah, for sure. I started DJing, and people were listening to my mixes, and it was like, we want that. Like, when you come to DJ, we want whatever you're doing there, we want that, right? Yeah. So sometimes I would do parties not under DJ Larry Love. It would be sounds by R&B mostly. Oh. Right? Because I was giving a sound, right? So yes, I started turning it up, and basically the live part started to become, people started booking me because they wanted that sound. And at the time I was working with a conglomerate of DJs. Shout out to Mr. Al Pete, my OG.
Shout out.
We had him on the pod. What was that? It had to have been like 73 or something.
Yeah,
dude, shout out Mr. Al Pete,
yeah,
bro.
Shout out
cool.
Mr. Al Pete.
We just seen him a couple nights ago, man.
Yeah.
He's dude, shout out him. Yeah,
Yeah, that's my
great
OG
DJ as
for
well.
real, for real. Yeah,
Great guy to kind of like emulate as well.
man,
you know?
look, he literally. I didn't have a mentor. I was just kind of doing things, and I kept hearing about him. And I actually kind of crazy. I heard about him when I was still in Colorado. He had some shirt that he created. It was like Better Dad Society, something, and he ended up on the news. And I saw him like, man, this dude's pretty cool. You know what I mean? And then I didn't hear about him again. And then when I moved back and started DJing, I was like, I think that dude was a DJ. And then I saw him around, and I reached out and was like, hey man, can we link up? So fast forward, him and a couple other guys I was rocking with, we were doing events together, and we kind of created this DJ conglomerate where people would book us as like the DJ crew, and we would sometimes do multiple events for them.
That's dope.
So we would do like a political event, a political mixer, and then turn around and do a party the same night. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So we were kind of like all over the city, and they were like, "Man, this R&B mostly thing, bro. Like you
you guys
play.
are all moving under R&B mostly.
No.
Okay.
We're just moving as DJs.
Word. Okay.
Right. So
Gotcha.
R&B mostly was still this media platform that I was doing mixes on.
It's just
and
a
I
side hustle.
Yeah, and I was doing some of my personal events with people. Like they would book me for the R&B Mostly sound.
Mm-hmm.
So my DJ guys at the time were like, yo, what are you doing with this R&B Mostly thing? You need to make an event out of it. And going back to the story about Travis Garland in Colorado, I was like, well, that's the plan, but I want to bring artists when I do it. And they were like, bro, fuck that. Like, bro, play the music. Like people book you because they want to hear the music.
Yeah.
And December 2018, we did the first R&B Mostly, and it's been up.
2018.
So December 23rd, 2023, which is next Saturday, is our 5-year anniversary.
Oh, dude,
I
no
saw
way.
that.
Yeah.
So where is this going to be at?
It's a place called Atlantis Jacks off of it's in Arlington. I can't remember the exact road.
And so 5
Arlington
years of
Road.
this, did you ever think that it'd be at this level that it's at right now? Did you expect it to be at a different level than it's at right now? Like, I mean, I've never been to one of these events, but I'd love to go. I think, dude, the 5-year anniversary would be so sick to pull up to.
Yeah, I'll show you some videos so you can see the energy. And you can feel it for real. You can feel it through watching the footage for real.
And is it? I didn't mean to cut you off. Is it
you
and Mr. LP? Are you like going back to back doing the R&B mostly?
So the team right now is me, Mr. LP, DJ B-Tune. We have a couple other guys, Rich Takerell and Pretty Nasty. They help out when they can, but it's mostly me, Alp, and B-Tune, and then our host is J Rel.
That's awesome.
Yeah, so it's us four for real, and we move through the music.
Do you have a home venue, or do you guys just go to like different venues every time you do one?
Man, so we try to keep a home venue, but I ain't gonna lie to you. Jacksonville's a tough place to keep venues because venues open, they close. The deals are great, then they suck. Deals suck, and then they're great. So it changes. So at this point, in 5 years in, we've been to four different venues. Four in Jacksonville. We've done one in Charlotte.
Are these like a yearly thing, a monthly thing?
Monthly. We do them every month.
Oh, wow.
I'll go back to your question. You asked where I saw myself. So honestly, I didn't see any of this because in my mind, I had to wait 10 years to build my money up to bring artists. Like that was my. But at this point, I've successfully brought I think 3 or 4 artists. We brought Sammy. We brought Tink. We brought DJ Envy. We brought a couple other guys.
Gosh,
yeah,
we've
had some people on the bill over the years. Nah, I didn't see this, to be honest. I mean, I always shoot big, so I saw this big thing. But I'm seeing the building blocks, and I'm like, oh, I know where we're going.
What do you think's been like one of the biggest things that you've learned throughout just building these events with R&B mostly?
One of the biggest things, patience, man. Patience and planning. Patience and planning, and learning the art of pivot, right? Clubs don't last 5 years, let alone a brand that is, you know what I'm saying, like that. And with the people that's involved as well. We've been able to make it 5 years, even through the pandemic, just because we stayed the course. You know what I'm saying? When the pandemic happened, that very next month, we did not do an R&B mostly. We just took it digital because people still wanted it, and people showed up in droves online.
That's awesome.
Like as if they were there, screaming in the chat. Oh my God, this is amazing.
Dude, that is so cool.
What's your next goal?
Next goal, honestly, next goal is to take it to more cities. So we did Charlotte earlier this year. It was phenomenal. But the deal and the people we were working with in Charlotte, it kind of didn't work the rest of the business. But we have a couple things on the table with Charlotte, so that should be coming very
What are
soon.
the challenges with going to a different city? Because obviously it's like when you're on your home turf, it's like so much easier to not just like find a venue and things like that, but also to draw a crowd in because you know so many people here. It's like
Absolutely.
very easy to get your people to show out and, you know, come out for an event, especially when it's only once a month. It's like, which is, I'm not down. It's very frequent. I will say that, especially for an event that big. But, you know, when you're telling people to come out and it's like, you know, just pop out this one night for me. You know what I'm saying? It's like, it's easy in your home turf, right?
Yeah.
But when you're going to another city, like it's got to be a lot of challenges involved, I'd imagine.
Yeah. So I'll speak to that a little bit. So Jacksonville is actually, I'll say this. If you can figure it out in Jacksonville event wise, you can figure it out anywhere. Jacksonville, and my homie would say, sometimes struggles with a segregation of information. Jacksonville is essentially like 6 or 7 cities in one. Mm-hmm. So when you travel to an Atlanta, when you travel to a Charlotte, when you travel to a DC, their city is the size of our north side. Barely.
Word.
You know what I'm saying? We got 5 or 6 cities that all consist of Jacksonville, and it's spread out. Mm-hmm. So I believe this has been a great playing ground for me to figure out. So I'm to tap into it deeper. I have become, I'm not an expert, but I've become really great at marketing. Mm-hmm. This isn't just about posting a flyer and telling your friends. I'm doing social media ads. I'm looking at the numbers. I'm doing email marketing. I'm digging into the numbers and understanding the data, which some people don't do. They just throw the event, throw the flyer out, and they know people, so people come. Mm-hmm. But that's how they fall off because I have a system. So to your point, the reason we were able to go to Charlotte and we did, I think we had about 250 people come out.
Wow.
First time ever in Charlotte. That's first time me ever doing anything in Charlotte.
That's a lot of people, bro.
But it was the relationships I already had there, plus the marketing strategy that I built through doing it in Jacksonville for almost 5 years at that point. And I was able to implement it there, and it worked.
Which strategy do you think helped you the most while you were trying to do that? Like, do you think it was trying to target target ads towards people that live in Charlotte? Was that ever a thought process? Like, what do you think helped you the most? Like, because drawing 250 people, bro, that doesn't just happen. Like, I think that's solid, bro. Honestly,
yeah. Honestly, so not to nerd out too much on marketing, but you guys do it. You know what I'm saying?
100%.
So
we're all about it.
So when you're figuring out, you have to figure out your audience, right? Mm-hmm. And your audience comes by doing more events. The more events that go out, that you do, the more information and data that comes in. So I get to, okay, what do people wear when they come? What are they drinking? What do they look like? What do they smell like? You know what I'm saying? Where do they hang at?
Yeah.
Are they college educated or not? Like, as I'm doing these events, I'm DJing, but I'm scouring the room. Like, okay, this is my audience tonight at least.
Yeah.
So let me load this into the data. Because when you go, for example, Facebook marketing, or you go into the business suite and you tap in, you can create audiences. So I create different audiences for different things. If I'm doing because sometimes I do different R&B mostly events. I'll talk about that later. December 29th, Auntie's House, which is a more intimate event that's sponsored by R&B mostly. That is a more intimate event. So that takes a different type of audience. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? So essentially I'm building audiences to tap a little bit deeper as well. I do hella events, which we'll get into those as well. Mm-hmm. I'm a builder. So I'm building audiences with each event. Like, okay, this is the marketing and structure and feel of this event. These are the type of people that come to this. Mm-hmm. Doesn't mean that other people who are outside of that box don't come, but these are the core people who come. So, I feel like that's what helped me in Charlotte, because Charlotte has an influx of the people who come to R&B mostly in Jacksonville. It's an influx of those people in Charlotte.
And you already know what you're looking for.
Yeah.
So that's another good thing. Like me and Joey, we always like very, very similar to what you're saying, bro. It's like, you know your audience. You're looking at the numbers of like which different types of people, age range, you know, their interests. It'll also show you like their top 3 podcasts of like, or the most popular top 3 podcasts of. So
absolutely. There's
a lot of different things like that where when we're looking at those numbers, we're kind of trying to target some of our things towards that same style of people. You know, it's like, I like that. I like that point a lot, man, because I think a lot of people, what a lot of entrepreneurs and artists try to do is they don't really try to find like a target audience. They just try to put it out and just hope that the target audience finds them. Yeah, and I'll tell you what, like, ever since once you switch that mindset and you kind of go looking for the type of people that you know will enjoy your content, it makes it so much easier for you to, you know, connect with the people that are going to support your show or support, you know, your sets or whatever you're doing, you know? Yeah. So yeah, great point about that, man.
And I want to give a little bit of game, because I like to give game to people. If you are running any type of business, whether it's a podcast or you selling cookies, if you are not tapping into actual marketing, you're you losing, bro. You know what I'm saying? We have access to the same tools that Walmart has, the same tools that Amazon has, the same tools that Bath and Body Works, whatever. You know what I'm saying? Any business that is able to put their information out, newsletters, marketing, we have those because of the internet, thankfully. You know what I'm saying? We have access to those things like this. Now, you do got to take time and learn it, but it's going to help you expand your business. You know what I mean? And help you stay in longevity wise. So, yeah.
I like that. And it's not like a lot of people think it's out of reach, you know, it's because they see these big brands kind of dominating these spaces, and it's intimidating. It definitely is. But once you learn like the basics and just kind of how to like get your foot in the door, and then you do, you know, through trial and error, you test things, see what works, see what doesn't work. And I think, you know, you kind of start to see that it's actually a lot easier than you may understand. You know what I mean? Like there's obviously so many deals behind the scenes happen with these big brands that make them bigger and bigger and bigger. But when you're talking about strictly like just being an artist, and you look at other artists and some of their creative processes and things like that, you're like, it's actually very doable, you know? And some people blow up for the wrong things too, you know? So it's like, so not necessarily the wrong things, but it's like, you know, you never know what could blow up. Like a clip of you, if you're just making content and putting stuff out, it's like you might blow up because you did something funny in a video, but you're actually making music. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Or, you know, so it's always good just to kind of see what your audience wants. You know what I mean? And just learn your audience. I love that, man. Everyone should learn marketing.
Absolutely. I mean, we have to.
If you want to survive in this space.
If you want to survive in this space, bro, you got to. Absolutely.
And talking about audiences and knowing your audiences, I want to know your top 3 songs. Like, say the crowd is dead and you know you have to turn the crowd around. Yeah. What are your top 3 songs that you would play?
Okay, so I'm going to say something before I get to that. So with R&B mostly, when you come to an R&B mostly event, right, what you're going to get, and I'll explain it, it's a formula that I created essentially. Most times when you go to a club, it's like top 40s. If they play R&B, it's randomly sprinkled in or usually at the end, right? So with me trying to create an R&B event, I was like, okay, people are going to come out, and sometimes people still want to be hype, right? R&B, not that all R&B is like super slow, but a lot of it, when you get into the classics, it's more slower, it's singing, is that, right? So the idea was, where normally you would play hype shit, I'm going to play R&B. And where normally you would play R&B to calm down, I'm going to play hype shit.
Turn it around.
So the party is up all night. It's all high energy because everybody's coming in to hear R&B. And then they're thinking they're going to hear R&B song, and then I'll get into the top 3. So the top 3 will be,
I like that.
For that, something, I'll give one that's not R&B. Dreams and Nightmares.
Oh, yeah.
You know that's going to go crazy. You know what I'm saying? But it doesn't matter. I've DJ'd and traveled across this world at this point, but definitely across the country. That song goes crazy everywhere. It's going to lift the energy in any room. You know what I'm saying? People are like, what? Hold on. You know what I mean?
You always got that one dude that is just like feeling it so hard.
Going crazy, standing up on the couch.
He thinks he's Meek Mill. Yeah, in that moment. It's so, and it's the dude just watching. Like, there's always that one individual, whether it's at the party, it's at the football game, wherever they're playing that song, man. Yeah. It's just so funny watching how into it. I'm not gonna lie, it's been me sometimes.
Yeah, don't say that one individual, because I've seen you be that individual.
I'm gonna tell you right now, bro. That's the vibe. When you're a couple drinks in, they play Dreams and Nightmares, man. The DJ knows what he's doing for sure.
For sure.
Number 2.
And then the next 2, I'll go from an R&B perspective. So Can We Talk by Tevin Campbell. Even though with the R&B that I play, I try not to play that song because I know every other party's going to play that song, but it doesn't matter. I know that song's going to go every time. It's going to get the crowd where they want to go. And then from a dancing perspective, Before I Let Go by Frankie Beverly and Maze, and then Beyonce remixed it. So I normally blend them. I'll play Frankie Beverly's part first, and then when they get to a certain part, I'll bring in Beyonce, and everybody's dancing. Yeah. Going crazy. Yeah.
Who do you think who's like the R&B GOAT? You know, I'll be honest, I'm a little bit green when it comes to R&B. Like I listen to the classics basically. Yeah. You know, like all the the ones that you've heard on the radio and all that stuff I've obviously heard, but I don't dive deep into any of the underground shit. Who do you think is like the R&B GOAT? Like coming from an R&B head yourself.
Man, I've been actually thinking about this a lot lately. So I'm not going to include Michael Jackson, because he's the king of pop. Yeah. He's definitely R&B, but he transcended R&B and helped R&B go into another space, another stratosphere. So I'm actually going to name 2 people, and essentially as rivals, but they're really kids of Michael Jackson, Usher, and Chris Brown.
Go. You know what's funny? I was gonna say my goat is Usher just because it's my last name, not even for any reason. But that's funny. He's actually the goat too.
Yeah, Usher and Chris Brown, and I say Chris Brown because I take it too deep into him. I'm extremely connected to him as an artist. He's probably my top 2 favorite, to be honest. I listen every year on Spotify Rap. He's my number 1 artist.
Really?
I listen to him. What? Yes.
Oh, what about God. Chris Brown? Is it just his voice in particular? Because he's so talented in so many ways.
So didn't he hit somebody?
So this
Dude,
so
let that shit go. I love this shit. I love how he's gonna bring that up.
No, I'll bring it up.
Bring that up.
I'll talk about it. So this is why Chris Brown doesn't get as much shine as he should, because of that situation. It kind of took him out of the
running,
the limelight.
Not even the limelight of the runnings. It took him out of the system. Like when Usher drops something, the system that's around music pushes it.
Do you think it's because, like, I bet you if he would have hit a girl that wasn't Rihanna, like,
yes, Rihanna was connected to Jay-Z.
So here we go.
Come on,
here we go.
Mm-hmm. Jay-Z been throwing shots at Chris Brown for years at this point, still, and it's like, bro, let it go, Jay. Goddamn, like, nah. So it took him out of limelight. But here's the thing: Chris Brown came out as such a strong artist and has continued as a strong artist. So even if people don't see him, he just sold out a crazy arena in Dubai, like last week or something, or 2 weeks ago. Like he wasn't able to leave the country for a little while. He was still killing in the country, but he went out the country and picked right back up like it was nothing. You know what I'm saying? So Chris Brown, Chris Brown is essentially a child of Michael Jackson, and like Usher would be like his uncle, so to speak, right?
Yeah.
But his work ethic is nuts.
I think Usher's doing the Super Bowl halftime show this year too.
Yeah. He just released his actually, as I was driving here, I saw it. He just released the album art for that project. And it's crazy. It's him holding a piece. It's dope.
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, I gotta check that out for sure. Yeah. Are you excited for that? Do you feel like that's a big like win for the R&B community?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Usher. So he just finished his residency in Vegas, and I saw a crazy cool clip about that. There was a guy he was talking to like 15 years ago, and if people don't know about Vegas for artists, usually if they're not doing like a big show, it's usually where artists go if they're washed up or they're trying to get like a second wind or whatever, right? I'm not saying that all the artists that are there are that, but it'll be like Elton John, and not Elton John's amazing, but he's older. You know what I'm saying? So it's all right, we're gonna go see an Elton John show, right? Usher is technically still in a prime of his career. And the clip was, a guy was like, I don't know if I want you to go to Vegas. And he was like, nah, if I ever go to Vegas, it's gonna be on my terms. It's gonna be the way I want to do it. I don't know if you guys got to see any clips of his Vegas residency. Phenomenal. Really? He was on skates he's doing crazy shit, but he's an entertainer for real.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And that's what Chris Brown comes in as well. They're really kids of Michael because they got the vocals, but they're going to outwork you on the stage every single night. They're going to perform for 2 hours straight.
That's one thing, bro. You got to respect Chris Brown for his dance skills, bro. That motherfucker can dance.
That boy's
talking about. He go crazy.
That he can dance for real. He's Chris Brown is one of those guys where, you got to give the dude a little bit of credit. Like, even though, he did, he definitely hit Rihanna.
Definitely.
Okay, and we ain't excusing that shit at all.
And we're not excusing that shit at all. Of course not. Yeah. But let's also say, like, the challenges of bouncing back from just the media, bro, that will attack you because it's Rihanna. It's because it's Rihanna. Like, the thing is, if it was just another girl or just like a normal person that no one really knew about, like, it may have been swept under the rug.
It still would have been bad, but I was still in front of that TV trying to do the dance moves.
It's still not excusable. It's still not excusable.
Yeah, but it would have hit different.
It would have hit different. Yeah. And I think that, like, the fact that he still has overcome that, most people, dude, your career's over.
It's like, for all intents and purposes, Chris Brown's career should have been over.
Yeah.
And he's still
especially
performing at a stream. Yeah. Especially if it's Rihanna. You know what I'm saying? But he's still performing at this very high level. And I think Chris Brown, I'm 32. I think he's like 34, 35. I think he's 35.
You think it held him back?
Yes.
I mean, obviously, yeah.
Yeah, but I
don't think it did musically. Like, because there's still some songs.
I mean, he's still great, but I think he could have been.
He could essentially be closer to what Usher is already. Mm-hmm. And that's what I mean by held it back. It didn't stop him at all. He didn't stop. He never stopped at all. He had his moments where he had to fight through that depression and all those things that were going on, but like from a if we're talking about superstar status, he is absolutely a superstar, but Usher gets the treatment of a superstar. Sometimes Chris Brown doesn't.
Gotcha.
Because of that thing. You know what I mean? So yeah, it held him back in that way. Like to me, it didn't hold him back in any way outside of he just had to change and figure out creatively how he was going to move. But he still produces some of the great. He just released an album called 1111. That album is fucking amazing.
I heard a couple songs on it. It goes hard for sure.
Really good. Very cohesive album, man. For sure.
And one thing that I like is, you know, with female R&B artists, it's like all about the voice, bro. Obviously, it is with the male artists as well, but it's like I just love, dude, a good R&B like female singer. Just goes hard, dude.
Alicia Keys.
Oh, for sure, bro.
I've been. She's been coming across my timeline a lot lately. Man, I don't think she gets the credit she deserves.
I saw a video of her singing on TikTok. I can't remember what song it was, but man, I wish she was singing to me. She just looks so pretty.
Man, no, and she really amazing for real.
Yeah. Who would you say is your female R&B goat? Like we did, like obviously we got, because it's so competitive in my opinion, bro. Like
it is.
You've got so many big names that in a lot of these like artists, they're, you know, they might be just like one hit wonders or something like that, but the song is so good. It's like you can't like, you know, you can't,
it's timeless.
Like, 100%. You can't deny it. So
so again, there are so many women before this woman that helped her get to where she is, but I have to give it to Beyonce. Like she's transcended. She's Michael Jackson, 100%. Yeah. She's Michael Jackson in the flesh right now, but as a woman. You know what I'm saying? In her way. You know what I mean? Like, I just saw her. Shout out to Amari Marshall. She's from Jacksonville, Florida, Duval native. She's actually Beyonce's co-dance captain. She's born and raised here, danced here, and she brought Love Culture to a special private premiere.
Oh, that's
of the movie, and we got to see it. And she's all throughout the film.
That's great.
You know what I'm saying? But that
is so cool.
That if y'all get a chance, and I think every creative should watch Beyonce's documentary, because it's just not what you think it might be. I'll just put it like that. I recommend you watch it because you're gonna learn so much. If nothing else, from a business perspective, as a creative, she giving it, and it's shot amazing. And she directed, wrote everything. Beyonce did. She's a superstar. Like she's a superstar we've never seen before.
We need to do that for sure, bro.
I
we
love
need to
Beyonce.
check that out.
Yeah, check it out.
I do. I
love Beyonce.
I do. Beyonce goes hard.
No,
for sure.
and it's still in theaters right now. Actually, the deal was with AMC that she did as well. So yeah, it's phenomenal. So female goat, Beyonce, gotta give it to her. And I can't say that I'm not a part of the Beehive, but I'm not like Beehive, you know what I'm saying? But I love Beyonce. I respect.
Is that what her fans are
called?
The
they're called the Beehive.
That's funny.
That's sure.
That's
lit.
Do you like Taylor Swift?
I do.
Really?
This is dope. Yeah.
Oh wow.
I bet I can hold you. I'm a music head, bro. Like I appreciate, even if I'm not like, I don't go and listen to Taylor Swift, to be honest with you, but like I have to respect her craft, what she's done, what she's continuing to do, how she's pushing the envelope.
Oh, she's on.
I mean, but let's be honest. Like, she wouldn't be anywhere like where she's at if she didn't start dating Travis Kelce,
right.
bro. Like,
I didn't even know about
Kelce
Taylor Swift until she started dating.
for real. I didn't even hear like
he put her in a different limelight recently, for sure.
Yeah. Oh,
yes,
for sure. I mean, shoot, I didn't even know her name until they started dating. So, shout out Travis Kelce. Thanks for doing that.
Travis Kelce. Thank you.
He's clearly the bigger celeb in that relationship. I don't know why people were acting like it's a competition and shit, but
whenever he goes to her concerts, I'm like, wow, Travis Kelce's there.
That's why they sold it out. She's got to bring him down to concerts. No, shout out Taylor Swift, man. That's funny. I want to use that as a transition though to get into love culture, man, because you just mentioned like obviously the things that Love Culture are doing are just kind of next level, and obviously you being a part of that, you're just kind of like right there to see it all happen, man. And, how did that connection happen? Like, how did you guys all link up, and then how did you become a part of the group and everything?
All right, I love telling this story. Okay, so I have a good friend. Shout out to Zach McNair. We went to high school together. Best friend, bestie. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, as you get older, sometimes relationships fade, you move, shit like that. So when I moved back, we started tapping in more. And he was like, hey, man, I want to introduce you to my boy, Nick. I think you might remember him, Spirit. And I remember him because I believe we played against each other a couple of times in football in high school. And so we met and linked back up, started kind of talking, and we ended up in the studio together. So mind you, a lot of my changes happened in the studio somewhere. So he invited me to the studio. We were kind of just talking, and he was playing me some stuff. And at this point, people are starting to bring me into spaces because they trust my ear. And they're like, oh, I want you to hear this. You're a DJ and the shit that you play is amazing. I want you to tell me how this sounds. Would you put this in the mix, et cetera, et cetera. So I'm listening, and Spirit's amazing. You know what I mean? So I'm like, bro, yeah, you need to do that. Da, da, da. I'm just giving him advice. And he's like, hey, man, you want to manage me? And I'm like, manage what? What are you talking about? I don't even know what that means. So he was like, no, I mean, just help me. Like, you got connections. You do what you do. Da, 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 da. So my first task for him was to get him like in a room that he had never been in. So that ended us up in Atlanta in a room that neither of us had ever been in. In that room, it was a bunch of creatives and artists, but his song was the only song they played. Of all, it was, I don't know, it had to be like maybe 200 people in there.
Wow.
Full of artists, et cetera, et cetera. He was the only, and that was the deal that I made. The girl that I was building with at the time, she was like, you guys can come up. I don't have any money for y'all, but I'll give you exposure. You know what I'm saying? And that built some relationships, some cool shit. And after that happened, Spirit was like, oh, no, you really my manager now. It's a flyer out there somewhere that says book Spirit management. It was my email. You know what I mean?
Hilarious.
Yeah. So from that, Rob Murray, and at the time Wade Saylor did this show called I'll back it up. Right before that, because this is kind of like at the same time this is happening. I had just met Spirit, and I came to a show called No Filter. Mm-hmm. Our first album is titled 1827 North Pearl.
Yeah.
That show was at 1827 North Pearl. And I think the only people that knew each other were Easy and Spirit. And then I think Rob might have known them, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But Flash didn't really know anybody. Like, Chi was just kind of like, I think she knew Kyle because of his wife at the time. But it was kind of like these weird connections, but nothing deep. And I'm just there because Zach invited me to come for real meet Spirit. You know what I mean? So that show happens. And then me and Spirit starts tapping in. So as that's happening, Rob hits up everybody from the so back it up. Everybody in Love Culture, with the exception of one extra person, was on the headline for that show that night. And they were the only people. There was no Love Culture at the time.
Wow. That's right. Yeah. When they all tell the story from their own angles, it's so cool how it's like, it's the same story, but everyone was in like, no one had any idea what was
Nobody
about to
had any idea. And mind you, I'm also in that room.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
No, for sure.
Yeah.
And I think it's crazy how it's like, from your perspective, it's like you were kind of, everyone else's perspective, they kind of knew like a couple people going into it or whatever. And, they're performing obviously. So it's like kind of, dude, you're just going in there. You just got, I think, you don't even know Spirit.
Nope.
Dude, that's, I think
it's no of him.
I think that's so cool, bro.
Yeah.
And like now looking back on it, it's like, imagine if you were just like, nope, rain check, I'm not going.
Bro, I'm not going to hold you. I was almost not going to go.
Really?
Yes. Because it was some other shit going on. I was tired. I was like, and Zach's like, come on, bro, just go. And I'm like, all right, let me
So at what point are they like, so, Love Culture gets formed.
So me and Spirit start linking. We're doing that. And then Rob is creating this project called Fluidity. And he invites them to come over to Kyle's house, or Wade Saylor, and to just lay verses. So Spirit, at the time we're doing this, he's laying verses. And he's like, hey, bro, like, you kind of my management now. Like, you want to come meet the gang? And I'm like, who's the gang? He's like, well, just come over. So I go, and Love Culture is sitting in the room. Yeah. And I'm like, I remember all y'all. Y'all was at the show. Like, you was raw. I told you that night. Like, talking to Rob, you know what I mean? I'm like, yeah, Chi, you was hard. She did a, oh my God. She did it one time recently too. She did this cover of LSD by A$AP Rocky, where she sings and then goes into this crazy ass flow at the end. And I have it on it's on my R&B Mostly page because I started highlighting local music at the time.
Oh, that's dope.
Yeah.
And did you know about her at that time when you post her on the, oh my God.
I had just met her. I met her and the girl who was playing guitar with her named Lance at the time. And I tagged them. It was like, oh my God, he's an amazing artist. Duval's music scene was weird at the time. So for me to hear, mind you, I heard every single Love Culture artist that night individually, not as Love Culture. And I'm like, where the fuck have y'all been? Like, this is here? Like, y'all from Jacksonville, all of y'all. This is crazy. So we went to the house and Fluidity started happening and then Love Culture formed.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it is. And the crazy thing about that, and I've said this to each Love Culture member, is Love Culture is a group of a bunch of individual artists that could all be big as fuck on their own.
Yes.
Like, if anything ever happened and the group broke up, I do not have any like doubt in my mind that the group would be perfectly okay. Like, everyone's so talented, bro. Yeah. And it's like when you get a group of that many talented people like together, I mean, the chances, there's always, I mean, we all see it, bro. Like, even with the big groups that come out, there's always that one, like, oddball, like, you know, that's kind of, you're like, all right, we could, you know, everyone's like 10 out of 10. You got this one that's kind of just like a 6 out of 10. He's like, not really the flow.
It's your little brother that you have to bring along.
Yeah, exactly. And with Love Culture, man, it's not like that, bro. It's like everyone is just, you guys are all on the same wavelength and just like a really dope group, bro.
Yeah.
I'm honored to have all you guys on the pod, honestly.
Thank you for having us.
It's like finally we got the full puzzle, man. It's like, I love it. And just talking Love Culture, it's like you guys are, the story of how you guys linked up and just the fact that it's like, right, not even right place, right time, just like God, bro. Like it's the fact that you guys all like were put in the same room, and then it just happened to like, wait, I mean, Love Culture wouldn't be Love Culture if it was like one person out, if you know what I mean. Like
it wouldn't hit the same.
No,
it would
like,
not hit the same.
None of the songs would be the same because it's like you can tell each person kind of has their own little piece in it, and then there's certain parts of Love Culture that's like you can't really do without. You know what I mean? So, dude, shout out to all you guys and everything. At what point were they like, okay, let's make this official? Like, you're our DJ.
So to what some people don't know, especially because of lately, I've mostly just been the DJ. I actually started as management DJ. Management first, right? So I started building my management chops, and so it all starts as, here's a goal, here's a task. If you can do it, this is what we want, right? Mm-hmm. So Spirit was, get me in a room, got him in a room. Boom, you're my manager. I don't know what that means, but okay. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Love Culture, we're doing fluidity. We're sitting, we're talking, and I start asking more questions about the marketing because marketing's my thing, right? Yeah. And at the time, I'm building my marketing mind, and I'm like, if y'all gonna do this, people need to hear it. How are people gonna hear it? Now, we're gonna put it out. I'm like, what does that mean? You know what I'm saying? So there was a art walk was coming up at the time. This was 2017, 2017. So it was one of those, I can't remember exactly the timeline, a little hazy.
Yeah.
But our art walk was coming up, and I was like, we should press up flyers, go out and hand them out. But we're not just gonna hand them out. We're Love Culture, so we're gonna talk to people. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I think art walk was on a Wednesday. Our show was on Friday, and at the time, it was on Bay Street at a place called Hourglass Pub. So I went in, brokered the deal with Hourglass Pub, and was like, look, this is what we're gonna do. What do you need? So we brokered the deal, and it was like, all right, this is what we're gonna print the flyer, et cetera. But I actually couldn't make the show because I had to go to my cousin's wedding, and I think it was in Orlando at the time. So helped them push that forward, and then I left. The show did like 150 people.
Wow, bro.
Right? But it was because I was like, we're not going to do anything crazy. We're just going to tap into what you already do. Yeah. Y'all know people. Talk to them. Tell them this is what we're doing. We're not just going to do we make the art and then we put it out. No. Tell the people. We want people to come and hear this. Mm-hmm. So shout out Fourth Quarter Quan. He stood in for me as the DJ that night. And I'm getting text messages. Oh my God, this shit is crazy. It's a line outside. What the fuck? Like, you're a manager. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I still don't know what that means, but okay. You know what I mean? And then, we kind of moved from there.
Love it, bro. Yeah. And it's always cool. Like, I think a lot of people don't take this to heart, but people want to support someone when they feel like they know them or like they feel like there's a connection. Like if you go out and speak with somebody and then introduce yourself and let them know like, hey, this is what I do. This is what we know we got a show coming up. We'd love for you to be there and like express like gratitude towards them and like kind of make that person feel good. It's like they're gonna like actually want to come and support you. It's like whether you got great music or not. I mean, they're gonna show up to this show and realize how good Love Culture is and then be a fan for life. But it's cool how you just got to think from like the consumer's perspective.
Absolutely.
A little bit,
always, and that's the thing. I'm gonna give Love Culture some flowers. Everybody in Love Culture is cool as fuck, and they look cool as fuck.
Oh, for sure.
So if somebody from Love Culture walks up to you and be like, hey, how you doing? My name is Easy. And it's like, hey, Easy, how you doing? Like, you look cool. And it's like, I want to invite you to a show I got going on. Like, what is this? What is Love Culture? Well, let me explain it to you. It's like, okay, now I got to come. Like, you're dope as fuck. You look cool as fuck. I don't know who you are, but let me tap in to see what this is. And it worked. You know what I mean?
No, 100%, bro. And I think the sky is really the limit for y'all with Love Culture, bro. Yeah. It's like just the things that they can do. And with, congratulations to all you guys with, the collaborations with Sprite.
Thank you.
Like all the cool stuff that you guys are able to like manage and make happen. It's like definitely you got my support all the way, bro. I mean, you guys, I love watching y'all grow, and I just love watching all of the barriers you guys continue to break down. It's so dope. I had one more question I wanted to ask you kind of before we like get out of here was there ever any like mental health struggles or anything that you kind of go through as being a DJ? Because I know that like we've had multiple DJs on the show, and it's a lot of late nights.
Yeah.
It's a lot of times. I mean, if you're not DJing, you're not making money.
Strenuous.
It's
Absolutely,
strenuous, man. It's long hours. It's very repetitive in a lot of senses. Like if you're not, like you mentioned, you're doing a lot of events. I'm sure a lot of those events are R&B or they're a similar style.
All kind of shit,
And so just speak on that a little bit, man. Is there any kind of challenges that just come with like that DJ life?
Yes, there are hella challenges that come with being a DJ. Let's start relationally. Right, relationships are difficult because I first of all, I'm already a late night. I'm a night owl. That's when I get most of my work done because the world's quiet. Nobody's bothering me. My phone has been going off, by the way, since we've been here, and I'm not looking at it because I'm here. You know what I mean? But
thank you for that.
For sure. And I'm already I've always been like, people reach out, et cetera, et cetera. When you become a DJ, it gets deeper, especially as you start to grow as a public figure because all the things, right? But relationships get difficult because I ain't get home till 4 a.m.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that's just what it is. You got to get okay with that,
Which
right?
means you're sleeping till noon for at least.
And that's if I don't have to work any other job the next day. You know what I'm saying?
For sure.
So yeah, but mental health. I mean, what a lot of DJs end up smoking, drinking a lot because number one, that's the culture. You're around it a lot. But it just can be very mentally taxing. And to explain myself as a DJ, I am not a typical DJ, right? So you can ask me, but you can't ask me like, hey, where you DJ at consistently?
Yeah.
I don't. Because most of the times I'm creating the event or I'm partnering with, I do, especially in Jacksonville, because my goal is to create other experiences. I don't want, even if I'm in a club, you're not going to hear the same shit. And most clubs don't like that. So they're like, we're just going to give you a night. Like here's a night once a month and do your thing.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So for me, it gets even deeper because I'm not just sitting at home creating my crates and my sets and then going to DJing. I'm creating the sets and then I'm doing the marketing and then I'm posting the flyer and then I'm responding back to people in the DMs about VIP and about this and about that. You see what I'm saying? So it gets even deeper for me because I'm running the business and then I go to the event and I DJ as well, which is why I'm so grateful for Alp, DJ B-Tune, a couple of my other guys, because they help hold it down. If you come to R&B mostly, you'll probably see me DJ at the beginning for like 30 minutes and then in the middle for like 30 minutes because I'm running the business. And R&B mostly is not about me, it's about the music. So I don't need to play everything, you know what I mean? But mine's a little deeper because I run into boss mode as well. So I got to flip that switch of making sure the door is straight and making sure the people are straight and then I'm playing the music.
Yeah, and do you feel like, in my own opinion, I feel like the success is so much greater too when you've kind of like, you're like the one kind of curating all the things
absolutely.
and making all the pieces kind of fall into place and making everything happen. Like for me, I think that's why I kind of fall in love with like the podcast and a lot of things like that is because it's like, it's me and Joey, you know what I mean? It's like us getting together and like really creating something from scratch, from nothing. And I think DJing is very similar, bro, especially with these events. It's like, dude, it's enough of a struggle to find a venue. You know what I mean? For these events, it's like one that just fits your taste and like the type of people you want to have coming through, but also just like, I mean, dude, sometimes it's like, how do you make a profit off of some of these events? You know what I mean? When they're like a venue will be charging so much for you to go and like rent it out or do whatever it is or whatever. And I think a lot of DJs too, like you get to a point where now the venue's paying you to do stuff, but you could never gotten to that point if you didn't put in that groundwork beforehand.
That takes time.
Being a DJ is an investment, bro.
It absolutely is an investment.
And I've never DJed a day in my life. I barely even get the aux cord when we're in the car, bro. But I will say, like, from all the DJs we've had on the show, like at least 4 or 5 different DJs, all of them say the same thing. It's just like the struggles of like that nightlife, bro. And just like you're always being an entertainer. You're always like the spotlight. You're, if you're having a bad day and, something, terrible happens to you throughout the day and it's just kind of like ruined your day, you still got to go and DJ and be hype as fuck for a crowd.
And, bro, so to speak to that, because you said something earlier, Joey, that like sparked my mind. So I remember the first installment of Army Mostly, we were at Justice Pub. Shout out Justice Pub. I love Ian. I remember DJing, and as a DJ, sometimes you don't always know what song you're playing next, let alone the 5th song from now. You're playing a song, the crowd's going crazy, and you're like, I have no fucking clue what I'm playing next. And people don't know that. They think, oh, you just got, no, bro, I don't know what the fuck I'm playing next. Like, I'm figuring it out as I'm moving. Right? I'm going through the crates, I'm thinking, I'm listening to the sounds, I'm like, oh, this will go well. You know what I'm saying? So I remember one time I played a song, half of the room was going crazy. The other half, this girl's just like staring at me like, that ain't it. And I'm just like, fuck.
What
Like,
was the
am I
song? Do you remember?
I have no idea. I can't remember. I had to block it out because I'm like, I gotta find this next song. You know what I'm saying? But it's a lot of pressure as well on top of all the other shit. You might have had a shitty day, and it's like, I gotta get up here and entertain these people.
And they don't care about that. Like,
They've had shitty days.
Yeah,
That's why they're here.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
exactly.
saying? To get a drink and to shake that shit off.
Yeah.
So for me, what I've had to allow DJing to be, and it's not always this. Sometimes it just is what it is. You got to push through. But it's my safe space. It's my space to get my shit off. I've had times, especially recently, where like I'm stressed, and I get to Wind Down Wednesday. This has happened a lot this year at Wind Down Wednesday, where I'm getting my shit off. This is where niggas, oh, you going crazy. And it's like, y'all don't understand what I went through today.
You don't know where this
get
is coming
out.
from.
I got to get this out.
what is Wine Down Wednesday? Is that like is it like a wine night kind of like form of like R&B DJing?
So shout out to OG Robbie. Shout out to T the Goddess. Shout out to Dom. Shout out to Will at Vagabond Coffee. Shout out to Kalia as well. So I've been trying to create. So I love the idea of Wine Down Wednesday. It's a midweek, not necessarily a turn up, maybe a little turn up, but it's like whatever we're doing, know that we're drinking wine, right? So wine gives the aesthetic of, okay, we chilling.
Yeah.
There might be a good energy, good height, but it's like we chilling, we cooling.
Yeah.
We ain't drinking vodka tonight, we drinking wine, right?
Yeah.
So I've always been like enamored by the idea of a Wine Down Wednesday. It's a midweek event, right? So I've done a couple of them, and they never panned out the way I wanted them to. It's a part of the game. You do things, you throw stuff at the wall that don't stick, you move on. So Robbie was a part of a group called Cap 6 back in the day, actually helped Love Culture. They were like, it kind of ushered us in and gave us some spaces to perform when we first started. And I saw him doing this event, Wine Down Wednesday. And I'm like, bro, I need in. What we doing? He's like, oh, we just did our second one. And I'm like, I definitely need it. Y'all just started. Yeah. So we talked, and I told him just about my woes with Wine Down. And he was like, yeah, we got the system. So Wine Down Wednesday it's multifaceted. So I'm DJing, and then there are performances, right? The performances, we usually have 3 artists, but they're curated performances. It's not just like, open mic, get up here, because you might hear some bullshit. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is not that. You're going to come, you're going to hear Immaculate Vibes by DJ Larry Love, and then the performers that get up there are going to be amazing. You know what I'm saying? So you're going to get to the last Wind Down, how I felt when I saw this guy named, oh my God, I can't think of his name. What the fuck his name up? I think he go by like Moon Man or something like that. Anyways, I felt like I saw Kid Cudi.
Really?
I felt like the feeling that some people probably had to have when Kid Cudi first came out, but he was still like, not local, but still trying to figure it out.
Yeah.
And they're like, I don't know who the fuck this guy is, but he's amazing. Like, when you come to Wind Down, you're going to experience that with the artists that we pick.
I love that, bro.
You know what I'm saying? And we take submissions for the most part, but a lot of times we're curating. We're thinking about artists that we've either created with as a DJ. I'm not just a DJ who DJs me. I am heavily into the creative community, into the scene. So I'm tapped in with artists all the time. I'm listening to music. That's how I got with Love Culture. You know what I'm saying?
Do you work with, I'm sorry to cut you off.
Oh, go ahead.
I keep thinking about this in my head. Do you ever work with Ebonique? Because we had her on the pod as well.
I love
dude. She's
Ebonique.
honestly, she's probably one of my favorite R&B like artists.
She's
in the
amazing,
city, bro.
She's amazing. She's the future. She's the future
voice.
for sure.
And when you hear her talk, like you wouldn't think that she'd have that great of a like not that great of a voice, but like I remember meeting her, and you don't expect her to sound the way she does.
Yeah,
it's
she's
incredible.
Like cool, and she's like,
I know, yeah, very
how
like,
you doing?
yes,
Nice to meet you.
yes.
And she's singing. She get in there. She get in that bag. She go heavy. Yeah,
yeah.
Yes.
No, shout out to her.
We do work, and we actually got some more work. On some music shit.
Cool. I was about to bridge that gap if it wasn't there, because I was like, we've had her on the pod before, and I was just thinking, like, as you were mentioning a couple things, I'm like, I think she knows Love Culture too. I was
absolutely.
Like,
That's family for
cool.
sure. She's family. To
she's
Love
cool
Culture.
as fuck, bro.
Her and Spirit, he actually just engineered. If people don't know, Spirit is an engineer as well, an amazing engineer.
Hit him up.
Spirit on the boards. He does a lot of people's projects here in the city. They work a lot. He just engineered her last project.
Cool. That's awesome, bro.
Yeah. But with Wind Down, it's me DJing. It's live music. We have vendors. We have Chef Naps whipping on the food, going crazy. He does most of the Wind Downs that he can. And then we also have art installations, so visual artists. So usually when you walk into the space, there'll be a couple pieces of art, and then you walk down a hall, and it's like flooded with artists that we've picked, and we put their art up. And yeah, so it's a full immersive experience, man.
That's dope,
sure,
bro.
Yeah.
Man, shout out to you for even throwing that shit,
man.
bro.
Look, happy to be a part of it, man, for real. Sure.
So where can let's go ahead and plug these people in, man.
Yeah.
Where can they find DJ Larry Love, man, and reach out to you and drop the social platforms, drop where they can listen to music, everything.
Yeah. So you can find me. So Instagram, Facebook, I'm not on TikTok like I should with like Joey is, but I'm on TikTok. YouTube, I'm on most all Twitter. I'm on most of all platforms at I am DJ Larry Love. I am DJ Larry Love.
Perfect.
You type that in, even in Google, all of my shit will pop up. You know what I'm saying?
Perfect, bro.
And then I want to shout out.
Is that your real name?
No, my name is Larry Wakefield. That's my actual name. DJ Larry Love, and I'll explain that real quick.
Yeah.
So I had to create a DJ name, right? So it's like, I don't know what the fuck. I don't know what it is. I don't know. And I thought about like, so what most people who know me personally know me for is to be a loving person. Like, and that, I feel like that's one of my goals in this life. Like when I take my last breath, the legacy I want to leave is love. Like I want people to know, I want people to have felt love from me, but I want them to know, like in theory, I talk to people about what it means to love yourself, what it means to love your neighbor, what it means to love your partner, what it means to love your dog. Seriously, like what it means to love life and people, and what emits from you from that. So I was like, I mean, it gotta be Larry Love. It makes sense.
And you got Larry Love playing R&B.
Oh,
man, it makes sense, right?
Perfect,
it makes sense.
Perfect,
you know what I'm saying? So, yeah, I chose it, and it stuck. It stuck hard.
Yeah,
you know what I'm
I know.
Like,
It's fire, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I like DJ Larry Love. That shit goes hard, bro. So all listening platforms, like if anyone needs to listen, because you were saying you were making some little music too on the side. I don't know. Like,
so I'll say just go to my Instagram and then go to my link in bio, and I have all of my shit in there.
and
Like,
that's all the R&B mostly stuff too,
yeah,
right?
so my link in bio my link in bio has usually like whatever the upcoming events are, and then I have a tap in bio. When you click that, you can scroll, and then I do a lot of shit. So you'll be able to see my R&B mostly stuff. I have a Love Culture page. I have a creative Larry Love Creates page,
and there's an R&B mostly Instagram as well. So follow that. So
R&B mostly Instagram is R, the letter N, the letter B, and mostly MOSTLY. R&B mostly on all platforms as well. And I want to shout out some events because I have plenty of events coming up.
Yeah, bro.
Up and through the new year. December 23rd at Atlantis is here in Jacksonville is R&B Mostly's 5-year anniversary. Extremely happy to be here 5 years later. Shit is crazy. December 27th at B & Son Art Gallery. That is the next and final Wind Down Wednesday for the year. Definitely make it because we may take a small hiatus, just to let y'all know. So bring your ass out. And then the newest event that I've curated with Queen Elm. Shout out to Queen Elm. She's a visual artist. Great friend of mine, went to high school together. It's called Auntie's House. So it is, imagine going to your auntie's house, right? Seeing your vinyls and music and the type of drinks and things that she likes, right? But literally you're walking to auntie's house, but it's a vibe, and I'm curating the vibe. It's essentially, it's like, it's partnering with R&B Mostly. So it's like R&B Mostly, but more chill. It's only about 80 people max. Like we sell out the tickets, and that's a cap. You can't come in. It's you get the ticket or you ain't coming. You know what I mean? It's not. R&B Mostly is a lot more open. You can come. We can fit 300, 400, 500 people in there. You know what I'm saying?
I got you.
It's a more of an intimate vibe. And that's December 29th. That's our second installment. Auntie's House. Yeah.
Love it, bro. Awesome. And all my OGs know, man, if you guys are looking to tap in more with the pod, anything like that, OG Sessions pod on all platforms except for TikTok. That's going to be just OG Sessions. Shout out to all our Patreon members, man. We talked a little bit about that in the intro, but Patreon is popping. That's the vibes. If you guys are looking for any extra bonus content, any behind the scenes content, anything like that, Patreon's your place to go.
Yes, sir.
Man, shout out to the boy Joey for tapping in. Another great episode. Had some great questions in there, brother. And shout out to the man himself, DJ Larry Love, bro. Dude, it was an honor having you come through, man. And this was really like the final puzzle piece for the Love Culture.
Yeah.
Like, not a trifecta because it's like 6 of y'all, but dude, it's I'm glad I finally was able to. It was all able to come full circle and make this happen, bro.
Yeah,
like
man.
Such a great conversation. You're such a knowledgeable dude, and I think that you don't really know somebody until you sit down and have a true hour like heart to heart conversation with them, bro. And it's so cool. I love just how all of you guys from Love Culture are just like such great people, like inside and out, bro.
Thank you.
Just hope to work with you guys more in the future and just continue this relationship, bro. Because you're an incredible dude for sure.
I appreciate it. And if y'all don't know what Love Culture stands for, it's League of Vibrant Energies. We really about that life. We really emit that energy for real.
Yeah.
That's why we work the way we work. We are a collective. We are a group, but we're a collective, which is why it's very important to your point about how everybody can operate individually.
You do it very well, brother, for sure. So yeah, all my OGs, we'll see y'all next week. This is the OG Sessions Podcast. We are out.
Peace.
Peace.